one of the things that a wildland firefighter does constantly, and that is pay attention to the weather. Constantly, are you paying attention to the weather trends, winds for the day, temperatures, relative humidity? A lot of weather factors go in to the decision making process of how to engage and fight a wildfire. One of the things that made me, and still to this day, even though I'm no longer a wildland firefighter, one of the things that still concerns me to this day is the wind. I can remember, especially working in the county, being a first responder for initial attack, days where it would be windy, or if they were calling on wind, man, I'm telling you, it would just make me so nervous, because wind is one of those factors that you just cannot control, along with the fuel and terrain that a wildfire is burning in. But the wind is so dangerous. It can change the direction of a wildfire, and it can change the intensity of the wildfire. And even today, on a windy day, if I'm around home, my stomach just gets in knots. It really concerns me, especially with uh, the people that are responding. That thought's just going over in my mind. Gosh, I hope they're being careful. Gosh, I hope they're paying attention to the wind. I hope uh, they're watching the fire behavior, and just being very careful about where they are. And that is one of the things that a leader considers and thinks about, is the risk when they make decisions in putting wildfire and putting firefighters in certain situations. Today is June 6th, which is D-Day, and I was thinking about that when Eisenhower had to make that decision to order those forces to storm the beaches of Normandy. He knew how dangerous it was going to be. He knew the situation. And listen to this. This is the orders of the day that Eisenhower issued. And it starts off like this. It says, "You are about to embark upon the great crusade toward which we have striven these many months. The eyes of the world are upon you. The hopes and prayers of liberty loving people everywhere march with you." And then he would go on to say, "Your task will not be an easy one. Your enemy is well trained, well equipped, and battle hardened. He will fight savagely." And I was thinking about that as Eisenhower had to make that decision to send those forces into danger. And every time a wildland firefighter makes those decisions, they have to consider the same thing: the risk that is involved with those decision making processes. Wildfire is extremely dangerous, and putting wildland firefighters in situations where they may have to protect homes, property, or even people is extremely dangerous. And Jesus did the same thing with his disciples. When Jesus started his earthly ministry, he gathered to himself uh, disciples that would he would train, and that he would mentor, and that he would teach. And then part of that process, just like the wildland firefighter, teaching them and training them, was then sending them out to do exactly what he had told them to do. So in Matthew chapter number 10, uh, it's the account where Jesus sends out his disciples. He's called his disciples, he's trained his disciples, and then he sends them out. But listen to what the Bible says, as Jesus is kind of giving them a briefing, if you will. He's kind of giving them some instructions. Matthew chapter 10 and verse number 16. Jesus himself says, "Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye wise as serpents and harmless as doves." When Jesus sends us out into the world to make disciples, to fulfill the Great Commission, he does this knowing it's going to be dangerous, that people are going to persecute you, that people are going to talk about you, that people are going to do things that could harm you. There are Christians all across this world that are being persecuted and martyred for their faith. And Jesus knows that. And I wish I could say that being a Christian is easy. And as the Lord sends you and I out to fulfill the Great Commission, I wish I could say that it was going to be easy and all positive. But it isn't. Jesus, again, is reminding his disciples that it is going to be dangerous. But then in the same chapters, Jesus is sending out his disciples and telling them, hey, it's going to be dangerous. He does say this, and sometimes we detach these verses from this sending. But listen to what Jesus says. Are there not two sparrows sold for a farthing? And one of them shall not fall to the ground without your Father. But the very hairs of your head are numbered. Fear not, therefore, ye are more value than many sparrows. So Jesus here says God the Father knows everything about you, and he cares about you, and that you are valuable to him. So he knows that you are a valuable resource to the Father, and he wants to use you to build his kingdom. So he'll never leave you nor forsake you. He'll never put you in a situation that he's not there with you and won't lead you and guide you through it. But it is a battle, and we go forward knowing that the victory has already been won.